Hey, this is Josh from Spotted Euros. Today we're going to talk about the best tow vehicle you can get for $5,000. Here it is. The 2005 Volkswagen Touareg V8 air suspension. This is our tow vehicle, our tow rig. We pull a lot of cars all over from California up to Utah, Las Vegas, Ogden, whatever it is. This is an 18-foot car hauler trailer. We have a 2012 Jetta Sport Wagon TDI on it at the moment. The trailer weighs about 2,200 pounds. The Sport Wagon weighs about 3,500 pounds. So you're looking at about 5,500 pounds. Part of the reason this is the best tow rig for $5,000 is because of the air suspension. The Touareg's equipped with air suspension on all four corners. You're able to adjust the ride height if you want to do some off-roading, but the big thing is the auto leveling. So you can see with the trailer, the Touareg loaded up, it sits completely level. Now, saying that this is the best tow rig for 5,000 pounds is a big statement, but I would argue that it would be hard to find something comparable to this. Now, you do have your Lexus SUVs, your Range Rovers, you have the Sequoia, sure, but I would say that all of those are going to come in at a higher price unless you're looking at something with a ton of miles. This car, this Touareg that we have, has 125,000 miles. I bought this about 3 years ago with 89,000 miles, so I've put on 35,000 miles. Of that, I would say maybe 20,000 miles was pulling a trailer. Whether it's this or I've had travel trailers in the past, tons of towing with this. And the biggest difference is the air suspension. For $5,000, there's not a lot out there that has air suspension. You can find these Touaregs pretty easily, right? They're pretty cheap. They're good cars. The biggest service you're looking at is the timing belt, but if that's done, then you're good to go. So we're just getting on the freeway. The Touareg, it's got plenty of power, right? You're maybe not going to win any big races, but with what we're pulling, this does great. You don't even have to think about it. So we're about to get on the freeway, get up to speed. I'm giving it maybe a third throttle right now. And it has no problem. If I put my foot down, it'll drop down and we can get up to speed pretty easily. So Spotted Euros, we're a used car dealership. We sell cars, specifically mostly Volkswagens. I may be a little biased as far as Volkswagen goes, and claiming that this is the best tow rig, but if I'm buying and selling Volkswagens, I feel like I gotta be pulling or using a Volkswagen to get the cars around. So I pick up cars in California, Las Vegas all the time, back and forth. I'm in Utah, so back and forth to California is about 9 hours each way, 18 hours straight, and the Touareg can do it no problem. I set the cruise to about 65, 70 what I prefer to do is pull it over into the manual mode in drive. I like to lock it into 6th gear. And then just let it go. Now, towing a car is easier than towing, say, a travel trailer because of how aerodynamic. The trailer obviously sits low. The car is meant to go through the air. The travel trailers I've had in the past, even if it was lighter than some of the cars that I'm pulling, because it's just a big sail in the front, it requires a little bit more. But a car, this Touareg can just hold the speed pretty easily. Now we are just going on pretty flat, maybe have a little slight downgrade, but we'll get into some hills, or maybe a hill here in a little bit. It's a very smooth ride. You can set this on sport or comfort. It's about an inch difference in ride height, and it just feels a little softer or a little sportier if you'd like. As far as gauges, this does, as far as extra gauges at least, this does tell you the oil temperature, which is nice. Everything else is pretty standard. And then you do have the battery voltage. It would be nice to have a transmission temperature. But I've watched that before on a tablet. It stays pretty much the same as the coolant temperature gauge. Now, most of the time, this will stay at, obviously depending how much you're pushing it, this will stay at about 200. 200 degrees for the oil temperature. Now, like I said, we're doing 65, and this will just hold it. Obviously, if there's a hill, you might have to push it down into 5th gear, maybe even 4th gear, depending how steep it is. But this will hold it at 65. The RPMs are pretty low, 2200 RPMs, 65. Now you can, I've set this if you want 65 when towing is plenty fast, but I've set this at 70, 75, maybe even 80 if you'd like, and it'll do it. Part of the reason I wanted to make this video is when I was purchasing this Touareg, I looked up videos and wanted to see how well it could tow, if it could tow, and there's not really a whole lot out there. Now, this being a 2005, and it's not, I wouldn't say an extremely popular, you don't see them quite everywhere, but at least for me, I wondered how well this did. We're still doing about, it's set at 65. We're gonna start hitting a hill here. A little bit of an incline. So we've dropped down to about 60. I'm gonna push it down to 5th gear. Okay, so here it comes. The hill, I wouldn't even say this is a big hill at all, but just to give you kind of an idea. Okay, so drop it down to 5th. For this grade, it'll pretty much hold it wherever the speed is in 5th gear. If you want to drop down to 4th gear, 3,500 RPMs. And in 4th gear, it'll bring it back up to speed. It's enough of a hill to have the trucks be putting on their flashers. But in 4th gear, it'll do just fine. Closer to 4,000 RPMs. Oil temp staying pretty much the same. It's not a big enough hill to really do much. Okay, so that is the Spotted Euros tow rig. We pull cars all over the place, and the Touareg does great. This, I would say, is definitely one of the best. For about $5,000, you can pick up one of these Touaregs. This generation is the first generation. It was from 2004 to 2006. The second generation of Touaregs is from 2007 to 2010, I believe. And that was basically just a update in the look of the Touareg, pretty much just the front. They're pretty much the same. The big thing is having the air suspension. That's made all the difference. Let me know what you think in the comments. I've thought about picking up a half-ton pickup, but I've always wondered how much better a pickup would do compared to this. So let me know what you think. Put your comments or opinions in the comments below. Let me know if I should upgrade to a half-ton truck, or if I should just hold out and get something, get a full-ton diesel or something like that when the time comes. When you're pulling just a single car, or you're pulling just a small trailer, you really don't need much more than this.